What I'm about to tell you is gonna knock your socks off your feet. It's gonna make your jaw protrude all the way to the coarse surface of the earth. It's the most amazing thing you're gonna hear for the rest of this week. There used to be a service you could purchase. This service had no add-ons, no extra fees, no additives. You paid a standard fee every month. This fee allowed you a license where you could watch, get this, whatever was on. If there was a Major League Baseball game, you could watch it. If there was a television show, American Idol was big back then, a movie that came on, a news program, you could watch it. Any program for a standard fee gave you a license to consume whatever was being broadcast. And if you happen to miss that program, you could DVR it and watch it. This, ladies and gentlemen, sounds too good to be true. It sounds more outlandish than Bigfoot. It sounds more revolutionary than the first iPhone itself. This was called cable. Cable is what we used to have before streaming. Streaming is just cable that's more expensive with extra steps. What galvanized me into making this video was the recent dispute YouTube TV has had with Disney. Let me get this straight. YouTube TV has raised prices multiple times. It started off at $45 a month. It used to be, you can watch live sports, $45 a month. You can watch the NFL, college football, Major League Baseball, NBA. I don't care about NBA much. You could watch all these sports for the standard fee. And then it went up and up and up and up all the way to $80 a month. I kept paying it because I want to watch college football. The sole purpose, the only reason whatsoever I subscribe to YouTube TV is to watch college football during college football season. In the South, where I currently reside, outside of Christianity, the largest religion is college football. I'm a Tennessee fan, born and raised in Tennessee. This Saturday, Tennessee plays Oklahoma. Both teams have 2 losses. Whoever loses this game, statistically, they're out of the playoff race. This is a season-defining game. I pay $80 a month, more than I used to pay, and I can't even watch this game because of YouTube TV and Disney, and I'll get into Disney momentarily. Price hike after price hike, and you can't even show me the entire reason I bought your product. The thing I bought your product for. I'm getting a little angry here, and I'm starting to be less articulate, but I digress. To make the situation even more comical, I'm already paying Disney money, and I'm already paying ESPN money, and I'm paying YouTube TV money. I'm paying over $100 a month, which was less than I would pay on cable, and I have to add another subscription just to watch the damn game. How funny is that? Oh, you need ESPN Unlimited. I know you're already paying Disney. I know you're already paying YouTube TV. I know you're already paying ESPN. But if you want to watch the game tomorrow, you have to purchase ESPN Unlimited. How asinine is that? You're already paying these corporations, but they want more because they're greedy pigs, is what they are. And that's my issue with YouTube TV. They keep raising prices. And they're going to give me a $20 credit. Thank you so much. I already canceled them anyway. I'm going to find cheaper options. I'm not going to pay $80 just to not watch what I want to watch. I can do that for free. Out of the kindness of their heart, they're going to give me a $20 credit. Oh, how beautiful. Even though I can't watch Tennessee play Oklahoma, which has playoff implications, even though I can't watch Texas play Vanderbilt, two ranked teams, but it's okay. I'm getting a $20 credit. And YouTube TV, they care about the consumer. Because we all know Alphabet Inc. is a good company. It's not like they took over YouTube and made it a corporate entity and got rid of regular users and added corporate media all over it. No, they didn't do that. They care about the consumer. And that's all I got to say about Alphabet Inc. When it pertains to Disney, Disney's done this multiple times. This isn't the first, and it won't be the last. You got to realize Bob Iger, who, in my opinion, is the worst CEO in Disney history. I'll bring the receipts momentarily. He's not the type of CEO Disney needs to flourish. Unlike General Motors, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Walmart, Disney needs someone who is innovative. Disney needs an individual who wants to create. Like Steve Jobs. I know Steve Jobs was a reprehensible guy in his personal affairs, but he was innovative. He was a visionary. And that's what Disney needs to have as CEO. Bob Iger's none of those things. None of those adjectives would describe him. Bob Iger's just a corporate pig. Walt Disney, for instance, we all know he innovated a lot of different things in animation. Snow White was the first full-length feature animated film of all time. Innovative. Michael Eisner added some new stuff as well. Disney Channel. Wasn't my cup of tea, but at least it was an original idea. The Disney Renaissance, Little Mermaid, Lion King, Aladdin, all those classics that came out on video, cassette, were because of Michael Eisner. DuckTales, Tailspin, all of those cartoons I used to watch growing up. Chippendale Rescue Rangers. Michael Eisner. A lot of the stuff in the parks were innovated, not saying personally by him, but Michael Eisner, who isn't a good guy either. Most great CEOs and titans of industry are not great guys, but you have to be successful at your business pursuits. He at least was a forward-thinking guy that wanted to create new content for the consumer. The Disney store, I used to go to the Disney store a lot. Michael Eisner, who, in my opinion, besides Walt, is the greatest CEO Disney's ever had. Iger, on the other hand, just wants to buy up already established entities. Under his tutelage, Disney's bought 21st Century Fox, Marvel, Lucasfilms. I think ESPN was under Eisner, but the point is, Iger just bought up these entities. Pixar in 2006, if I remember correctly, Disney bought Pixar. Used to be Disney and Pixar, now it's just Disney. He just buys up already established firms and makes them worse. He waters them down. Think about Star Wars. I'm not a big Star Wars fan. I'm not a big fan of the film itself, but he's watered it down. He paid billions of dollars for Lucasfilms. That's why he has to make a return on investment, ROI. And in order to make that return on investment, he has to make prequels, he has to make sequels, he has to make remakes. That's why you have part 2 of Luke Skywalker's childhood that's a prequel to a sequel to a remake. Because he's got to get that money back for the company. That's why you have all these Marvel movies coming out. The Marvel Cinematic Universe. The first couple were cool when it came to the Avengers, but then I had to go watch this movie, the backstory of Ant-Man, and then I had to watch the prequel to Captain America, and then the sequel to Iron Man. I just don't want to invest all that time in watching a movie. I know it's a foreign concept. If I want to analyze something and spend a lot of time, let me learn about World War I. Let me learn about geography, economics. I don't want to sit there and analyze Batman's backstory and the psychology of the entire thing. Just not my thing. That's all he's doing. It's called vertical integration. It's no different than what J.P. Morgan, Andrew Carnegie, John D. Rockefeller would do. John D. Rockefeller, for example, and the difference is he's an actual innovator. I'm not a fan of the guy. There's a lot of problems that he had historically. He found out how to use oil for other sources. People used to throw it out like it was waste. What he would do is he would have a refinery and he would tell the individual, sell to me, become a member of Standard Oil. I'll give you some stock. And if they refused, he would undercut them. He would charge low prices that would bleed out the competition. And eventually the competition would have to sell to him pennies on the dollar. And he ended up controlling everything from distribution, some of the railroads, to the oil rigs, to the barrels. And that's called vertical integration. They want to control every aspect of their company. We're seeing that right now with Amazon. They're not using UPS as often. They're not using FedEx as often. When it comes to the ground, FedEx Air is still pretty large in comparison in that sector of the industry. And that's what these companies do when they become large. Disney saw an opportunity. They just created ESPN Unlimited. They're about to own Fubo TV, and they own Hulu TV. Iger wants you to eat out of his hand. Instead of having YouTube TV, he wants you to be forced to buy one of his distribution sources. He wants to control the distribution, just like Rockefeller did. That's why we need antitrust against Disney. Disney shouldn't be able to own all these things. Disney shouldn't be able to own Fubo, Hulu, and ESPN Unlimited. Maybe one of these things, but eventually they're going to own the entire world if we keep letting them do what they're doing at this particular moment. We need an Theodore Roosevelt trust buster. Actually, it was Taft that had more trusts that were broken up rather than Roosevelt, historically speaking, if you look at it, but I digress. We need somebody who's going to look at that and say, Disney owns too much of the market, and they're able to control too much of the consumer's life. It's like this with anything. When you go to the grocery store, about 6 companies own all of the stuff on the shelves. When it comes to media, for example, Disney owns ESPN, ABC, all the Disney stuff. They own National Geographic, Marvel, Lucasfilms. You're going to think to yourself, wow, I have all these different choices of media, but they're really under one conglomerate. The media has about 5 or 6 companies that control everything. Comcast, Disney, used to be AT&T. I'm not sure if they're still a big player. I know their stock price hasn't been doing very good recently. I think Sony's starting to become a big player. These companies pretty much own everything. About 6 companies. I made a video about this, the 1996 Telecommunications Act, which gave these corporations consolidation over the entertainment industry. And that's sort of what we have today. Even records. Disney and AT&T own a lot of record labels. Own CNN. Own NBC News. And then NBC has football. Now it has the NBA back. I was curious. I looked for inflation. If you adjust for inflation, the average person, household, individual, pays $100 a month for streaming. Adjusted for inflation, we used to pay about $62 in today's money and real purchasing power for streaming services. We paid less money for that. If you would have told me years ago, I'm already paying $80 a month to YouTube TV, I'm already paying money to Disney every month and ESPN, but I can't watch sporting events, I would have accused you of being insane or disingenuous. Maybe both. That's the landscape of what we're in currently. And you have these people online saying, don't reward Disney. I know exactly what Disney's doing as someone who understands how business works to a certain degree. At the same time, I'm going to watch Tennessee and Oklahoma. I'm not going to go to a bar and pay all this money just to watch a sporting event. I'm not going to go to someone's home and sit there from noon all the way until nighttime to watch all these games. I'm going to start with Vandy and Texas and then finish out the night with Tennessee and Oklahoma. I'm not going to go to a bar and sit there all day just to watch a sporting event because Disney's bad. I'm not going to listen to it on the radio. I'm not going to go through all these different avenues to watch the game. I want to put my ass in the recliner at noon, press a button to turn on the games, and the only time I'm going to get up is to get an adult beverage or get something to drink, get something to eat. And then outside of that, ass on recliner, hand on button, and that's all I want to do. Watch this college football weekend. Pivotal weekend. Right now I decided to go with the ESPN Unlimited. Gonna see how it is, but in the future I don't really want to give Disney any money because of what they've done. And I also don't want to give YouTube TV any more money. I cancel my subscription. When my subscription runs out, I'm done. I'm paying way too much. I'm thinking about maybe going to Sling or maybe finding another source. I'll have to look into that. Currently, though, I'm just going to get into the ESPN Unlimited for now so I can watch the games tomorrow. Bob Iger, basically what he's done is he's been inherited a Lamborghini, and he's crashed it, and then it's had to be repaired, it's had to be refurbished, and it's not as good as it used to be. Something else he's done, which is a miscalculation when it comes to business, it's not smart to take a political position. I'm not into politics. That's not really where I like to spend my time and energy. Politics don't do anything to make anybody's life any better unless you're a politician and you take money from the donors. That's a whole different story for another day. Disney has taken political positions and it's caused people to dislike Disney. Nobody hated Disney in the early 2000s. There were people who didn't watch Disney on a day-to-day basis. Nobody viscerally, actively hated Disney. Bob Iger took a brand that used to be non-polarizing and he's made a segment of the public hate the company. And I don't hate them because of their politics. I hate them because of things like this, that they control too much stuff and they're a corporate conglomerate that just is full of greedy pigs and a non-visionary CEO. No one who never watched Disney in the first place is going to say, now I'm going to watch Disney because I agree with their politics. It doesn't work that way. What is the future of streaming? The future of streaming, unfortunately, is going to be you're going to have to spend $10 here, $15 here, and now everything's going to have ads. And it has add-ons. I was on Netflix the other night. That's the only streaming service I have outside of YouTube TV because I'll watch movies on there. And it wanted me to pay another add-on to watch some of the programs that it has. Not only do you have Netflix, but you also need Stars. You also need the Plus package, the Gold package, the Unlimited package, and that's what it's going to be. These corporations are going to gouge you until the cows come home, and it is what it is. What's the solution? Every individual's different. If you like watching reruns of Family Matters, you like watching Full House, you like watching Peter Pan, you like watching Disney movies, you're fine. But if you're someone that enjoys live sports, you're going to get the boot on your neck. Before this, sports were heavily subsidized. What would happen a lot of the time? Anyone who had a cable package, these old ladies who didn't watch football, my grandma, for example, doesn't care about sports, not her prerogative. They would pay an extra $10 a month for that cable package, and that would essentially subsidize the license to broadcast live sports. But now that we don't have that system anymore, now that they are no longer subsidizing people like me that watch sports, the consumer who watches sports is going to have 15 different apps to be able to watch sports. And outside of college sports, I watch college football, basketball, baseball. I only really watch Major League Baseball. I watch the NFL here and there. The NBA is a joke. I don't watch it anymore. It's boring. And that's kind of the old business model they used to have. But now that they're not getting as much and they're not being subsidized, they're then passing on that cost in a different manner.